Shanti. Thought it'd be very nice today to cover a subject which is very dear to all of us. I think indeed the whole of humanity, and that's what is truth. Because everyone in their own way searches for truth, tries to find a reason why we're here, a reason to carry on, a reason to believe in something. Everyone needs some kind of a belief, even if it's atheistic or an agnostic belief, whether it's about God or whether it's about the self, whether it's about life, whether we're living a reality or a virtual reality. And of course, we need to uncover many things in this subject so that we can move towards a more stable state of existence, because often what we see isn't the reality, it's not the truth, it's just part of a whole thing that's happening. So there's like three aspects of time: a past, present and a future. And of course, if we take someone's perspective, a human being's perspective of something, who came at a certain time in history with his own perspectives, then we may cling to that and call it truth. And what I found with myself in the 80s, 1983, was when I went to a meditation centre, Raj Yoga meditation centre, I felt like I was in a very good position. Someone actually not knowing completely what truth is, or even I've actually even searched the subject, because the thought and the feeling of not knowing anything that's real, that's true, and not having a particular belief system would make some people feel that you're in a very gullible position, very vulnerable position, where, as we've seen what happens with cults and things of that nature. So someone can be have a blank sheet of paper as their mind, and other people just write on it. But to me, it was not going to be like that, because it had to make sense, and I was willing to try something because I didn't know what truth is, and to some degree still don't, because truth to me is when something that you is completely working for you, but that still hasn't become a reality. So there hasn't been a complete transformation from a false understanding to a true understanding, and even further than that, to a true state of being. Because that's what the feeling very much in the spiritual understanding of truth is. Of course, there's the physical understanding, whereby you could say that a circle can never become a square, and a square can never become a circle, and you would say that's a fact. But there are certain facts, as in the people that we choose in our life that we think are true to us and then prove not to be. And then other things as a spiritual or religious belief that someone believes in, but it actually hasn't become their reality, or even can't become their reality, because it's about someone else, as in many religions are about someone else. They talk about a God that is the truth, and only God is truth. But of course, as we're all the children of that being, bar none, then in reality is that we should be reflecting that same state of truth before we can reach a point where we no longer search for truth, because we could get sidetracked by virtual realities that appear to be true and real and then prove not to be, and some years could have been wasted in our journey towards that state of truth. One thing that's worth knowing for everyone really is that we must have had that truth for us to search for it, because how would we recognize it when we find it? If it's being searched for, it's being searched from within to without, outside, or we could search for it inside, or we tried searching outside for it, as in the form of certain virtual realities whereby money brings a certain happiness, and that makes me feel stable, secure, strong, and relationships of our physical body, they come and go, and if they make me feel that I'm in a state of reality and this is really worth living, then it's still going to be short-lived, because that means that there's a dependency on that person. And I suppose you could argue really is that because some people actually believe that the family unit, we're meant to be dependent on each other, and so in this way everyone's truth is their own. Still, I do hold dear and near that truth is only one, but I would say that they've got part of the truth, not the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And there's also sayings such as the truth will out. That means that no matter how much you try to hide the truth, it will come out at one time or another, so not to get deceived by telling a lie, living a lie. And also the truth will set you free, but the truth hurts. And on your own journey, on our own quest, we would have to find out if that's true. I believe it to be so, but just because I believe in it, it doesn't make it true. So I think humility rules here, really, because if you're not programmed one way or another, not a particular belief system, nor a particular disbelief in something, then you're very close to middle ground, whereby you can actually, your perspective would be clearer, it would be more objective rather than biased, because people that come who are already programmed, I remember there was a story about a mother who said to this great pianist, "Could you teach my daughter how to play the piano? She's very good. She doesn't need that much help because she's very good as she is, but I would like her to be on your level. So could you teach her?" And he said, No, I can't teach her because I would have to deprogram her first, because she's not coming in a clear, clean a piece of paper ready to be written on by the maestro. Instead, she'd written her own dictates in what she believed to be a good pianist, and because she listened to people all around her that she was a good pianist, it became a virtual reality. And no doubt we've all seen the people that believe that they can sing on YouTube, and when you listen to it, you think, what were they listening to? So we're really talking about a state that the person that can become, that is they're having faith in, because they've got faith that it's going to work for them, and there's no loss when they if it fails, if they don't fulfill their expectations, aren't fulfilled. So when we actually look at truth, we're really looking at a state of being that has to become a reality. So for example, anger can't be a state of truth because it makes people feel uncomfortable, makes people feel like they want to be away from angry people. There's a certain rejection inside of people that are being controlled by anger. See, this is the point really, is that if someone is controlled by anger, it means that they're not in control. And when peace is paramount, when peace, love, happiness, all the things that we actually enjoy in life, when they're controlling us, we're really okay with that. So you would say that the positives would be peace, love, happiness, power, purity, truth, divinity, morality, all the things that if you had, you would feel bursting with the happiness of being yourself, because the truth will set you free, and you're only actually really becoming free from a false me or a false I. So that the I that we use every day is being used in the form of I am experiencing sorrow, I am experiencing loss, I am experiencing heartache, heartbreak, I am experiencing illness. And when we say I am happy, and we look at what is making us happy, then you know whether it's true happiness, as in it's not under the influence nor having the support of anything. See, really, when we actually talk about God being truth, is that, well, how does that really help me unless I can become the same? So what God's state of being is no doubt truth, and another person's idea of what God as truth is will be dependent on their perspectives. So if it brings sorrow to other people, if it brings sorrow to themselves at time, it can't be a state of truth, because truth will set you free. And if that's burden, bondage, then it will increase and intensify, and even if it stays at the same level, it will not be setting me free. So to actually have a connection with the source, whereby you're not worshipping that being, but you're actually trying to become the same feeling. So you're not too interested in thoughts, you're more interested in feelings, because thoughts are very illusionary, in the sense of when I think a particular thought and I start to feel good with the feeling that comes from that, and then it can have an opposite thought in my everyday life. Maybe I imagined it, maybe it wasn't very deep, maybe I made too much of it. There have been people that have had visions, and many people would like to have visions, but in reality is that some people doubt those visions later on. They actually lose faith in their visions because it wasn't something that actually changed them at their very core feelings. So to actually connect to God in such a way, the source of truth, and it's connecting to my source of truth, my reality, rather than my virtual reality, which is actually filled with falsehood at the present time. No shame in that. It's no one's fault, no one to blame, because blame makes you lame. So if you blame yourself or you blame others, it's just that it's evolved like that. It's manifested in that way. And it's probably because we've become so material orientated. We looked at people and things, nothing to do with truth, the illusion, people and things, our environment, and we've said to ourselves, this will make me happy, this will make me stronger, this will make me have a purpose, this will make me whole again. And we've even seen people with things. Some people have everything, like the wonderful Amy Winehouse, who seemed to have everything, but obviously was living with a broken heart. And although people saw her as they idolised her, the illusion remained the illusion, because most of them never actually got there. Those that have arrived there realise there's too much pressure, because it's an external thing. It's a dependency in which I feel nothing without it, and everything comes out. The truth comes out, and the truth that was coming out was saying, this is not where it is. This is not a true state. Remember, we're looking for a true state rather than a true statement. I think this is where it actually went completely haywire, completely wrong, when the state that the being had, the self, the complete state of truth, whereby I'm living, moving, breathing, dealing with others with the best feelings, the kindest feelings, the most abundant feelings, the most peaceful state that I was able to get joy from. And then it became a certain statement that if I follow this, this will give me peace, this will give me love. If I follow the way that person did this, I will be successful and I will feel real. And we're all looking for our real self. And there's a song that goes, when I was young, it seemed that life was so magical, beautiful, and the birds in the trees, they were singing so joyfully. And then they took me away, taught me how to be sensible, intellectual, cynical, a vegetable. And they took a child away from this state of happiness. And it's called the logical song, because that was the logical way that people would grow up, and how illogical, logically, that is, to actually take a child away from happiness and make them feel so stressed about their future existence. A very a very virtual reality form of truth rather than a true reality. And the song goes on, it says that when all the world's asleep, the questions run so deep, won't you please tell me who I am? And the wonderful thing about the Brahma Kumaris is that it doesn't change, in the sense that we still come back to this number one question and answer: do you know who you are? Because this is such a powerful form of existence. If you know who you are in the form of thoughts, as in, I am a soul whose peace is nature, but it's only on the thought level, then it won't become a reality until I actually give it the attention, give it the care, give it the energy. So while my virtual reality, I'll wake up with in the morning and it will tell me all the things I've got to do to actually get to the end of the day in a productive way. But my other self, what they call the altered ego, I believe, is the other I, which is working for me if I just listen to it, where there is nothing more important than being yourself. But then that's the true self that makes you feel stable, strong, and non-reliant on other people. So you actually don't need other people. You are an island, but we come together because of this power that comes together when like minds move in one direction. It's a very, very powerful form of being, is that my presence of being a peaceful being using the physical body is my state of truth. Anything and everything else is the virtual reality, a non-state of truth. And you can tell if it's a non-state of truth because it always lets you down. You always feel disappointed, and you always have expectations because it's about later, having something later, accomplishing something later. And yet, as you are in a state of truth, with attention, with caution, with care at sustaining what I need to be in to remove my virtual reality, so my reality removes my virtual reality, is that I've got to cherish it, look after it, stay with it, speak to others while remaining in a peaceful, loveful state of being. And then my power starts to build up from inside to out. So it's actually not being selfish, because you can't be selfish with your own energy, because it emerges from inside. You get the joy of it, and the joy of it goes to the outside. So you're affecting people with your truth, and your truth is also their truth, because they're souls, spirits, beings in bodies. So when I came to Raj Yoga meditation in 1983, I was open to listen. And as soon as someone's not open to listen, in the sense of they're too imbalanced in their biasness against, or their biasness for, it's very easy to convince someone that this particular religion's right if they really deeply want to believe it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a detached, more objective state where you're neither that way or that way. I neither believed in God, nor did I disbelieve in God. I neither believed in reincarnation, nor did I not believe in reincarnation. I neither believed in gurus or Christ, nor did I not believe in gurus or Christ. I was in a very healthy place because I didn't know. And that's such a nice place to be, I don't know. And when truth becomes mixed with a falsehood, I nearly said you'll stink, you'll think you know more than you actually do, and humility wins here. You've got to undo that and say, I know very little about this subject, but I'll do the best I can. And you're keeping the flower open, and keeping the flower open is to do with becoming truth. So perhaps when other people join me today, because it'll be later on in the day that others are joining me, maybe we can go over this subject again. Maybe we call it Truth Part 2, not Truth Number 2, because there's only one truth to me, and that's who you are in with the experience of feeling happy, fulfilled, content, and when there's a tension on the self as being the light form, the eternal light form of using matter, the eternal light form talking to other eternal light forms. Why do no one listen to each other anymore? Because they're not talking to each other, they're talking to each other's bodies. So okay, we'll do some meditation to finish off with, and I hope you got something. Whatever you're meant to get from it, you would have got. Shanti. So I let go of the name and form of the body, and I begin to uncover the beauty of being myself, the being of light power that is not affected by the hot and cold, by evil and love, by good and bad, by peace or peacelessness. I am stable in being, in the presence of my true benign self, no longer seeking to impress or needing to be impressed, no longer looking for victory, no longer having a problem with failure, just being the immortal, the eternal guest to this physical body. My role naturally emerges from inside the soul, inside the light at the center of the forehead, to outside, and I watch it as it manifests. I am even separate to the manifestation of the role. I cannot die. I cannot experience anything other than stillness. Nothing that I have around me that is taken is anything to do with who I am. What I have, the body, possessions, and family, is not and will never be anything to do with who I am. Who I am is unlimited, eternal energy that is manifesting through matter further than the eye can see, and even touching the solar system with light. It has given me light, and I give light to the solar system and the world in between. And every being in the world in between is being touched by my reality, my real truth of being light form, separate to physical form. The body, the world, is in the realms of mortality. But I, the true I of the self, is immortality, making a visitation to the mortality. My immortality only allows complete and total morality, because what I am is immortality, and what I am not is the mortality of the name and form of the body. My light is very entertaining to me. My light is very appealing to me. My light is freedom with a capital F. Om Shanti.